As time passes, marriages naturally evolve, influenced by physical, emotional, and mental changes. What started as an exciting, passionate bond can shift, often leaving one partner feeling distant or disconnected. Husbands may start to feel disillusioned, not because they no longer care, but because the dynamics between them and their wives subtly change. Understanding this transition is key to maintaining love and connection. In this article, we'll dive into the reasons why some husbands begin to dislike their wives as they get older, drawing wisdom from elderly couples who've seen it all. We'll explore physical changes, communication struggles, unmet expectations, and much more, providing valuable insights for long-lasting relationships. 2. The natural changes in marriage, physical and emotional evolution building on how marriage dynamics evolve with time. One significant factor that can cause husbands to feel distant or disconnected from their wives is the natural changes both partners undergo physically and emotionally as they grow older. These changes aren't just about growing older in age, but also about shifting identities, roles, and expectations. The once vibrant and exciting energy in the relationship can fade if not nurtured, leading to a sense of dissatisfaction. Physically, age brings its challenges. Health issues might arise, or physical appearance may change, affecting self-esteem and intimacy. Men may find that the partner they once found physically irresistible doesn't look or feel the same way. In turn, the wife might experience her own frustrations with how her body has changed. Whether it's menopause, weight fluctuations, or fatigue, these physical changes can make both partners feel less attractive, ultimately impacting their desire to connect. Emotionally, the pressures of life, such as career shifts, raising children, and facing the realities of aging, can create stress that chips away at the emotional bond. Husbands may become more focused on their work or personal struggles, leaving less room for nurturing the relationship. Conversely, wives may experience emotional shifts that affect how they interact with their husbands. For some women, the transition into midlife may prompt them to reevaluate their life's purpose and focus on personal growth, which can inadvertently create a distance between them and their spouse. The emotional disconnect often occurs when one or both partners feel that the love they once shared is becoming strained, and this can be especially true when there's a lack of communication about these changes. As people get older, they might not know how to express their feelings or are hesitant to admit that they feel something is lacking. The bond that once held them together may seem fragile if these changes aren't openly discussed. For instance, elderly couples often advise younger generations to keep communication open and address feelings early on, rather than letting them fester into resentment. This transformation can also be seen in how couples prioritize each other. With the passage of time, responsibilities increase, such as caring for elderly parents or dealing with financial concerns. This shift in priorities may cause one partner to feel neglected or like the relationship isn't as important anymore. Husbands may feel their wives are too focused on these external obligations, leaving little room for romance or intimacy. In addition to physical and emotional changes, the simple passage of time itself can wear down a marriage if both partners aren't proactive about maintaining it. Husbands may find themselves wondering if their wives still see them as they once did. On the other hand, wives might feel underappreciated or that their partner is no longer emotionally present in the way they once were. As one elderly couple put it, "Time doesn't wait for anyone, and neither should your relationship." The key takeaway from this point is the importance of acknowledging and addressing these changes together, rather than letting them create an emotional divide. Whether it's by taking care of your health, continuing to nurture your emotional bond, or simply having honest conversations about your evolving needs, understanding the natural changes in marriage can be a pivotal step in keeping the relationship strong and resilient. In the next section, we will explore how unspoken expectations and miscommunication often contribute to the widening gap between spouses over time. 3. Unspoken expectations and miscommunication over time, continuing from how natural physical and emotional changes can create distance between partners. Another powerful force that can lead husbands to feel disconnected from their wives as they age is the presence of unspoken expectations and miscommunication. Over time, these subtle shifts can build up, causing resentment and confusion. In long-term relationships, people often assume their partner understands their needs, but the reality is that, without clear communication, These assumptions can lead to misunderstandings and unmet expectations. At the start of a relationship, there's an excitement to learn about one another, and communication flows easily. However, as time goes on and the initial novelty fades, couples sometimes slip into a pattern where they stop expressing their feelings, desires, and concerns. For husbands, this can mean feeling overlooked or misunderstood. They may assume that their wives still know what they need or want from the relationship, but these needs often evolve over time. If these feelings aren't voiced, the husband may begin to feel frustrated and detached, thinking that their wife no longer cares or understands them in the same way. One common issue is the expectation that emotional needs will be automatically fulfilled. As the years pass, men may expect their wives to intuitively know what makes them happy, but often this is not the case. Whether it's a desire for affection, attention, or intimacy, these things can slip under the radar if not openly discussed. As a result, husbands might begin to feel neglected, assuming that their wives no longer prioritize them or their needs. On the flip side, wives may feel they are doing everything they can, yet the husband's emotional distance becomes evident. This unspoken gap can cause significant tension in the relationship. Miscommunication plays a crucial role in this dynamic. Instead of voicing concerns, both partners might begin to harbor silent resentments. Husbands may withdraw emotionally, either because they feel hurt or simply don't know how to bring up their frustrations without causing conflict. Wives, in turn, may misinterpret this withdrawal as a sign of disinterest or apathy, assuming their husband is no longer in love with them, even though he might still care deeply. The emotional disconnect becomes a vicious cycle. Miscommunication leads to frustration, which leads to further miscommunication, until one or both partners feel misunderstood and unloved. Additionally, long-term couples can fall into routines where they no longer make the effort to express their affection. In the beginning, there's an energy to show love, whether through thoughtful gestures, surprise dates, or simple acts of kindness. As time passes, these gestures may decrease, not out of a lack of love, but simply because partners assume their feelings are already understood. The small things, like complimenting each other, showing appreciation, or spending quality time together, are often taken for granted. This lack of effort can make husbands feel as though they are not as valued as they once were. One key piece of advice from older couples is the importance of continuing to express needs, desires, and frustrations clearly and honestly. Open communication allows both partners to stay in tune with each other's emotional states, helping to bridge the gap between assumptions and reality. Elderly couples often emphasize that the secret to a long-lasting marriage isn't avoiding conflict, but knowing how to address it when it arises. In the next section, we will explore the role of routine and how the lack of excitement in long-term relationships can lead to dissatisfaction and emotional disconnect. 4. The role of routine and lack of excitement in marriage. Building on how unspoken expectations and miscommunication can cause emotional disconnect, another powerful factor that contributes to a growing distance between husbands and wives as they age is the monotony of routine. While routines are necessary for stability, they can also lead to a lack of excitement, which can slowly erode the connection between partners. As couples settle into their daily lives, the spark that once made the relationship exciting and passionate can easily fade into a predictable, sometimes dull pattern. At the start of a relationship, there's a thrill in discovering each other's quirks, preferences, and desires. Every date, every conversation feels fresh and new. But as time passes, the daily grind of work, household responsibilities, and raising children, if applicable, can overshadow the spontaneous moments of joy that once defined the relationship. Husbands may begin to feel that they are living alongside a roommate rather than a lover, and the excitement that once brought them together feels like a distant memory. The lack of excitement can manifest in different ways. It may start with a decline in date nights or meaningful conversations. Husbands might notice that their wives seem more focused on tasks, preparing meals, managing the house, or handling work obligations, than on creating a romantic connection. Similarly, wives might feel that their husbands have become emotionally distant or preoccupied with their own routines, leaving little room for shared enjoyment. Without those fun, carefree moments together, the relationship can start to feel like just another item on the to-do list. Another aspect of this routine-induced disconnect is the erosion of intimacy. In many marriages, the longer the couple is together, the more physical intimacy tends to decline. While this is a natural part of aging, it doesn't have to result in emotional withdrawal if both partners make an effort to stay connected. However, when intimacy fades, it can leave one partner feeling rejected or undesired. For husbands, this shift can feel like a signal that their wife is no longer interested in them, leading to feelings of loneliness or frustration. The key to combating the rut that routine can create is breaking the cycle. Elderly couples often emphasize the importance of making time for each other amidst life's busy demands. Whether it's taking a weekend getaway, planning regular date nights, or even engaging in a new hobby together, these small efforts can reignite the passion that may have dimmed over time. It's about actively choosing to be present with each other and finding new ways to reconnect. Moreover, finding excitement doesn't always have to be about grand gestures. Simple, thoughtful acts can bring a sense of novelty and appreciation back into the relationship. Complimenting each other, reminiscing about the early days of your relationship, or sharing something personal can help restore the emotional intimacy that might have been lost in the daily grind. The bottom line is that excitement isn't something that magically maintains itself in a relationship. It requires effort, creativity, and intentionality. Husbands and wives need to work together to break free from the shackles of routine, injecting moments of joy, playfulness, and adventure into their marriage. It's these moments of excitement that can keep the love alive and prevent both partners from feeling like strangers to each other. In the next section, we will delve into how parenting and family obligations can impact a marriage and further strain the emotional connection between spouses. 5. The impact of parenting and family obligations on the relationship. Picking up from how routine and lack of excitement can lead to emotional distance, another major factor that often drives a wedge between husbands and wives as they get older is the heavy load of parenting and family responsibilities. As life moves forward, both partners often find themselves juggling multiple roles: caregivers, professionals, and family managers, which can take a toll on the emotional and physical closeness of the relationship. The responsibilities of raising children, caring for aging parents, and managing a home can overshadow the time and energy needed to nurture the couple's bond. Parenting, in particular, is a stage in life that can deeply affect the dynamics of a marriage. When children are young, both parents are usually heavily involved in raising them. Their focus naturally shifts to the needs of the children, leaving little time or energy for romantic moments or meaningful conversations. Husbands may feel sidelined as their wives pour most of their attention into the children. This can create feelings of neglect and emotional distance. Over time, the husband might start feeling that he is no longer the priority, and his wife might feel overwhelmed by her maternal duties, resulting in both partners feeling disconnected. Even as children grow older, new challenges arise, from managing school activities to dealing with the stress of their evolving needs. This can create a continual state of busyness that consumes both partners, leaving little room for intimacy or individual connection. It's easy for a couple to get caught in a never-ending cycle of family obligations, attending school events, handling health crises, or dealing with career demands without taking time to focus on each other. The result? Emotional exhaustion and a lack of the bonding experiences that are crucial for sustaining a healthy relationship. The added pressure of caring for aging parents can also strain the emotional connection in a marriage. As couples get older, they may find themselves balancing their responsibilities as parents to their children with the responsibilities of caring for elderly parents. The stress of caregiving, combined with the emotional toll of seeing parents age and possibly face health issues, can leave one or both partners feeling emotionally drained. For husbands, it may seem like their wives are more focused on the needs of their parents than on their marriage, further creating a sense of disconnection. Wives, in turn, may feel that their husbands are not contributing equally to the caregiving duties, leading to resentment. This cycle of putting family obligations above the marriage can be incredibly difficult to break. The needs of children and elderly parents are undeniably important, but couples need to recognize the importance of taking care of their own relationship as well. Elderly couples often share that they found joy in caring for their family, but they also made a conscious effort to prioritize their marriage even in the midst of chaos. A healthy marriage requires attention and effort, no matter how busy life becomes. The key to navigating these family responsibilities without losing the relationship is communication and collaboration. Couples must openly discuss their needs, expectations, and feelings about the demands of parenting and caregiving. It's also important to carve out time for each other, even if it's just a few minutes a day, to connect emotionally. Regularly checking in on the state of the relationship, asking how each other is feeling, what's working, and what's not, can help couples stay aligned and support each other through the challenges. Ultimately, couples who manage to balance family obligations while nurturing their marriage find that their relationship remains strong, even as they age. It's not about eliminating stressors, but rather learning how to manage them together, with mutual respect and a renewed commitment to the bond that started it all. In the next section, we will explore the emotional neglect that can arise in long-term marriages, and how it can silently erode the connection between spouses. 6. Emotional neglect and its consequences, building on the heavy burdens of parenting and family obligations. Another quiet but significant factor that can drive a wedge between husbands and wives as they age is emotional neglect. As couples get caught up in the demands of raising children, managing households, and caring for aging parents, it's easy for their emotional needs to take a backseat. Over time, this neglect can have a profound impact on the relationship, leaving one or both partners feeling unappreciated, unseen, and unloved. Emotional neglect often begins subtly. At first, the absence of small gestures of affection, like a simple compliment or a loving touch, may go unnoticed. But as the years go by, the lack of emotional support can leave a deep emotional void. Husbands may feel that their wives are no longer interested in their thoughts or feelings. They might yearn for a conversation that goes beyond logistics or daily chores. Over time, this lack of emotional connection can lead to a sense of isolation. Similarly, wives may feel neglected if their husbands stop offering words of encouragement or affection. They might long for their husband to acknowledge their efforts or show interest in their emotional well-being. But these things often fall by the wayside amidst the daily demands of life. The impact of emotional neglect can be devastating. When one partner feels emotionally neglected, they can start to withdraw from the relationship, either physically or emotionally. They may stop sharing their thoughts, their feelings, or their concerns, assuming that their partner isn't interested. The emotional distance grows, and what once felt like a close, trusting relationship starts to feel more like two people living parallel lives. For some, the neglect can even reach a point where the relationship feels more like a business partnership than a marriage. What's particularly insidious about emotional neglect is that it often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Couples may continue to go through the motions of daily life, assuming that everything is fine because they haven't had any major arguments or conflicts. However, the absence of emotional connection can be just as damaging as open conflict. Many elderly couples share that one of the biggest regrets they have is not addressing emotional neglect sooner. They often wish they had spoken up earlier about their unmet emotional needs instead of silently harboring resentment. The key to preventing emotional neglect is regular, open communication. Couples need to actively check in with one another, not just about practical matters like finances or family obligations, but about how they're feeling emotionally. This means asking questions like, "How do you feel about us?" Or "What do you need from me right now?" Emotional intimacy requires effort. It doesn't just happen on its own. It's about making the other person feel valued, seen, and heard. Even small gestures of affection, like a hug after a long day, a thoughtful compliment, or simply listening attentively, can go a long way in combating emotional neglect. Another important aspect is emotional vulnerability. Many men, in particular, struggle to open up about their emotions, thinking it makes them appear weak. However, sharing feelings and showing vulnerability helps create a deeper emotional connection and encourages both partners to support one another. Women, too, should express their emotional needs clearly rather than expecting their husbands to read their minds. Couples who recognize the importance of emotional intimacy and prioritize it in their relationship find that they are more resilient in the face of life's challenges. By actively fostering emotional connection and addressing neglect before it becomes a significant issue, relationships can remain strong and fulfilling even as the years go by. In the next section, we will explore valuable advice from elderly couples on how to maintain a strong and lasting marriage in later years, despite the challenges and changes that come with age. 7. Practical advice from the elderly. How to strengthen marriage in later years. Building on how emotional neglect can quietly erode a relationship, the key to a lasting marriage lies in actively nurturing the bond through all stages of life. While the challenges are many, parenting, physical changes, emotional distance, and family responsibilities, the wisdom shared by elderly couples provides valuable insights into how to keep the love alive, even when life seems to pull you in different directions. The best advice from those who've weathered decades of marriage is simple yet profound. Prioritize the relationship, communicate openly, and never stop growing together. One of the most frequently shared pieces of wisdom from older couples is the importance of open and honest communication. After years of living together, it can be easy to assume your partner knows exactly what you're thinking or feeling. However, expectations left unspoken can create distance. According to many elderly couples, successful marriages aren't built on assumptions. They're built on talking things through, even when it's difficult. It's about checking in with each other regularly, not just about household tasks, but about deeper emotional needs. Ask questions like, "How are you feeling?" Or, "Is there something on your mind?" These simple gestures can help maintain that emotional connection and ensure that both partners feel heard and understood. Another crucial piece of advice is to make time for each other, even amidst life's chaos. Elderly couples often speak about how easy it is to let a marriage fall to the bottom of the priority list when children, work, and other obligations take center stage. But the happiest couples find ways to carve out time for one another. Whether it's a weekly date night, a spontaneous trip, or simply spending time together without distractions, these moments of connection help to keep the relationship strong. It's not about grand gestures. It's about showing up for each other in everyday ways that remind both partners they're valued and loved. Additionally, couples who last are often those who embrace change together. As you age, life's challenges evolve, and so do you as a person. Whether it's dealing with health issues, navigating career changes, or adjusting to an empty nest, growing together and supporting each other through these transitions is essential. Elderly couples advise always being curious about each other's experiences, thoughts, and dreams, even after many years of marriage. The key is to stay engaged and adapt together. Relationships, they say, are living, breathing things. They need regular care, attention, and flexibility to thrive. Physical intimacy also plays a major role in maintaining connection. While it's true that physical desires can change as you age, many elderly couples share that staying physically affectionate, even in small ways like holding hands or sharing a hug, helps maintain closeness. Even as the intensity of romantic passion may shift over time, physical connection serves as an anchor, reminding both partners that they're still loved and desired. Lastly, appreciation and gratitude go a long way. Couples who have been married for decades often speak about the importance of expressing gratitude for the little things, whether it's thanking each other for taking care of the household or appreciating the emotional support. Acknowledging each other's efforts fosters a sense of respect and love that strengthens the marriage. In fact, older couples often reflect that one of the key ingredients to a lasting marriage is recognizing that love isn't just an emotion. It's also an action, built on mutual respect, appreciation, and kindness. Ultimately, the advice from elderly couples boils down to one central theme: commitment to each other and the relationship, no matter how much time passes. A successful marriage isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving together through all the changes that life brings. By keeping the lines of communication open, making time for one another, embracing life's challenges as a team, and showing appreciation daily, couples can sustain a deep and loving bond, even in their later years. In the end, the journey of a long-lasting marriage is not without its obstacles. But with the right mindset and a commitment to growth, love, and partnership, couples can overcome any challenge and continue to enjoy a fulfilling relationship for years to come. If you're feeling inspired by the wisdom shared in this video and want to keep your love story thriving, don't forget to like and comment below with your thoughts. We'd love to hear your experiences, opinions, or advice on keeping the spark alive in a relationship. Sparkling heart sparkles, and hey, if you enjoyed this content, Make sure to subscribe and watch our other videos packed with relationship tips, love stories, and advice that will inspire you every day. Stay connected, stay in love, and keep the conversation going. Rose Speech Balloon.